Hello, and today I'm going to rank every single season that we have in the Walking Dead universe as of February 2025. So I'll be looking at all 7 shows and ranking each one from 26 all the way up to the best at number 1. So let's jump right into this with last place, 26, and it is World Beyond Season 1. This is by far the worst season. I have nothing good to say about it other than the CRM stuff is good, but it is hard to get through. 25 is Fear Season 5. I really dislike this season because of how it looks mostly, but I also think the story is really bad, the characters make really dumb decisions, and the only thing I like is the introduction of the variant radiation walkers. 24 is Tales Season 1. This show is so bad it only ever aired in America. That's how bad the show is. It never aired in any other country outside of America. 23 is Fear Season 8. This season has a good kind of first half. Good is pushing it, has some nice episodes in the first half, but its 12 episode run is really poor. There's no money in the season, so it's really clear this season just couldn't do anything, and everything just happens off screen. It's really annoying. They waste every single character except for Morgan. 22 is World Beyond Season 2. This is a massive improvement on Season 1, but it's only good because they bring in Jadis, and those last 3 or 4 episodes, because you have Jadis and she's making smart decisions, all that CRM focus, that's what brings it up. Not that the cast got any better. They're still terrible. It's just the Jadis stuff. And 21 is The Walking Dead Season 8. This is by far the worst season in The Walking Dead's run, and it is a massive drop in quality from every other season. This season is just action. You have major character deaths which makes no sense. This season got so bad that they had to get a new showrunner, so clearly it had to be the bottom for The Walking Dead. 20 is Fear Season 7. This season looks really cool. I really wanted to enjoy this season. I really like the start of it, but there is no back half. They just can't commit to the Strand villain arc, and it is a march to war which never actually has a war. 19 is The Walking Dead Season 7. This season is just bottle episodes. This season has terrible pacing, is all over the place, and this only has 2 good episodes, episode 1 and episode 16. Every other episode is boring or trash. And 18 is Fear Season 4. And I think the first half of the season is interesting and quite cool. It's just that back half which is really, really bad. And when I rewatch Fear, I always end up skipping the back half of the season because it has one of the worst villains in the Walking Dead universe. 17 is The Walking Dead Season 11. This season is a mess. It is all over the place. They have clearly tried to merge 3 seasons of story into one. However, some characters are really, really great, like Lance, and like what they did with Maggie and Negan, but outside of that, this season is an underwhelming final season. And 16 is Daryl Dixon Season 2. This is a really interesting and fun season, has a really, really cool villain. My biggest issue with this season, though, is it has terrible pacing. 6 episodes is not enough to do the whole variant storyline, as well as Daryl and Isabel's relationship. And on top of that, introducing Carol. There is a lot going on. It kind of all falls apart because they only have 6 episodes. And 15 is Season 10 of The Walking Dead. This season is a bit of a mixed bag. I really enjoy the first half of this season, but then it kind of just loses it a little near the back half of the Whisperer arc, and I really dislike the bonus episodes. They are some of the worst episodes in the entirety of The Walking Dead, but you also have some of the best episodes in The Walking Dead in Season 10. It's a very confusing season. And moving on, 14 is Dead Sea Season 1, and personally I believe this show shouldn't exist. Maggie and Negan's story is done, but what we got was still fun. I really enjoyed Negan. I really enjoyed the whole setting of New York. It's just that issue with Maggie. She doesn't deserve to be in the show. She doesn't really add anything to the story other than being the secret basic big villain at the end of Season 1, but you could kind of tell. It is a very interesting show, but I don't think it deserves to exist. Moving on, number 13 is The Walking Dead Season 2. This might be controversial and not have it so high, but I think this season is good, but 13 episodes for the whole farm arc is way too long. This season has terrible pacing issues, and especially in this first half of this season, nothing really happens. This season does have Shane, which is great, does have some really good character dynamics and really does focus on the characters and the drama, but it is very poorly placed, and I think a lot of people do see this season with a lot of nostalgia. But I'm not saying it's a bad season, it's just I think some seasons are a bit better paced than this season. Number 12 is going to be The Walking Dead Season 1. This season is great. I really enjoy season 1. I've seen some people say season 1's a bit slow. I don't think that. I think season 1 is perfect in almost every way. It has one of the best episodes in the TV history, with the pilot being one of the best pilots we've ever got. But I think that because this is the first season, it's great, but everything was able to build upon how great this season is. So for season 1, it should be quite good that it's not number 1 for me. It is right in the center. Number 11 is Fear season 1, and it might be controversial to put Fear season 1 above The Walking Dead season 1, but I think Fear season 1 is a stronger first season than The Walking Dead season 1. I just really like how the season does show how quickly the world falls apart, and having the military being the big bads of season 1 is a really interesting season. Now, number 10 is Fear season 2, and it might be even more controversial to have Fear season 2 this high. And I know a lot of people say it does have pacing issues and they don't like the whole boat storyline in the first half of the season, but me personally, I really enjoy this season. It has one of my favourite episodes in the Walking Dead franchise, with episode 14 of season 2, and I really like the boat storyline. This is showing the world falling apart a bit more. We get to see Mexico, and this is really good. I really like how they split apart the characters and everyone actually tries to survive by themselves. I do have to say there are some pacing issues, but I think the pacing issues are not as bad as everyone says, and I will defend this season till my dying breath. And I think the final episode is a really bad season finale. It just feels like a penultimate episode, not a finale. This season does lack some big moments. It is a bit lacking at times, but I really enjoy the season. I think it deserves to be number 10 for me. And number 9 is The Ones Who Live season 1, and this season obviously it had to be so high because it brings back Rick and Michonne. We get the CRM storyline. This season is fantastic. From episode 1 to 5 has some of the best episodes we've seen in years from the Walking Dead franchise. It just has that really bad pacing issue, and if you're there for the CRM story, it's really disappointing. This is a love story first, CRM story second, but what we got, I treat this as The Walking Dead season 12. This is the ending of the Walking Dead franchise. If you're just watching the main show, you watch this afterwards. It deserves to be in the top 10, and number 9 is a really good spot for this 6-episode miniseries. Number 8 is Daryl Dixon season 1. This season is absolutely amazing. It's fresh, we get variants, we get some character progression for Daryl, we get some interesting new characters. I really like the characters introduced in season 1. You get LaRon, you also get Codron, you get Isabel, some fantastic characters. This season deserves so much praise. And number 7 is The Walking Dead season 3, and this is when the show blew up. Season 3 is when The Walking Dead found its stride. It became this iconic TV show, and it does help that this season really does get the budget it needs and the writing it needs. It wasn't affected like season 2 was, sadly. And what I really like about the season is the governor. We get to see some epic character deaths. We get to see some characters do really interesting things. I really like Rick in the season. Daryl becomes his own character. You bring back Mel. This season has a lot going for it, but there are some issues, like they ran out of budget at the end of the season, and it is noticeable. One of the worst finales are in this season, and there's a whole thing like you have the last minute death of Andrea and they completely character assassinate her. And this issue does have a pacing issue, but in the opposite way of season 2, where season 2 was too slow, this season was too fast, and they were adapting too much at once, so you couldn't really see what was going on. There's so many what if scenarios and things that almost happened with season 3, but what we got was still great. Number 6 is Fear season 6. I really like this season, and I want to put this higher. However, looking back at Fear season 6 and rewatching parts of it, it was fantastic up until, I would say, maybe episode 10. Like, they had some great moments with Teddy, but I feel like they definitely did jump the shark with them launching the nukes, and a bit too much happened by the end of the season, which does ruin it. It goes, okay, we're doing this grounded story, Morgan's fixed, we've got this amazing like new setting, it's a bit westerny, all the characters are doing these interesting things, we get some great character deaths, and then, oh yeah, Teddy just launched a nuke and they blew up whole of like South America. It's really just jumping the shark this season, and that really what ruins it. If they didn't jump the shark at the end, I would put this maybe 3rd or 4th, but because they jump the shark, it does make everything else seem a bit dumb. So number 6 for Fear season 6. And number 5 is The Walking Dead Season 4. And it'll be definitely a lot easier to talk about what I didn't like about the season than what I liked about this season, and talk about why I couldn't put any higher than why is it so high. So the things I don't like about the season are the 2 episodes with the governor, really ruins the pacing, and the bottle episodes in the back half. That is my entire problem with this season. Everything else about the season is amazing. The characters are amazing, but you have too many bottle episodes in this season, and it's the start of the bottle episodes that Gimple was doing. You could tell, new showrunner, new direction, and this season was with Gimple's first season. He's like, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And sadly, we know where he ends up going with The Walking Dead Season 7. So all the issues of The Walking Dead Season 7 all started with Season 4. Now, number 4 is The Walking Dead Season 6. This season has my favourite arc in the Walking Dead franchise with No Way Out. I really enjoy the first 9 episodes. Absolutely amazing. But they have a very misplaced Morgan flashback episode in the middle of this arc. And then they have the fake out Glenn death. And then you have the cliffhanger ending, which is one of the worst cliffhangers we've ever got in TV history. Outside of that, this season has like just a perfect story. We have No Way Out, and then we have Rick being overconfident and the march to the Savior War. Absolutely phenomenal TV. One issue which is not really in the episodes is that after No Way Out, there's a whole Carl arc in the comics, and the show just skips it to go straight to the Saviors, which is really annoying. There's a whole Alexandria rebellion against Rick storyline, which is dropped. This season really rushed to the Saviors, and it does show a little. Number 3 is going to be Fear Season 3. It might be very controversial to have it this high, but me personally, I have a massive soft spot for Fear the Walking Dead's early seasons, and Season 3 is one of my favourite seasons of TV, outside of the next 2 above this one. I really enjoyed this season. I think this is when Fear found its stride. We got to see our characters come into their own, and we got to see them do these more questionable things. It was clear that Madison was going down this evil path, and we got some really great character dynamics. You had Troy, you had the Ottos, you had a whole storyline with really no villains. You have the Native Americans, who are the bad guys to the people at the ranch, but were the ranch people actually the bad guys? It's a really interesting season. You have that one issue with Travis Stein right at the start, but that couldn't have been helped because the actor wanted to leave. This season is really, really good, and a lot of people say, I've seen some people say, oh, it has some pacing issues, they don't like it, but me personally, I really, really enjoy this season, and when I think of Fear, I think of Season 3 of Fear. Now, number 2 is The Walking Dead Season 9, and this season is The Walking Dead come back to its own. I really, really enjoy this season. It's probably the only season I feel like doesn't have pacing issues, and it's probably one of the only seasons to actually merit its 16 episode season length, because every season feels like they're trying to bloat it to 16 episodes, but Season 9 doesn't have that. You have the first 5 episodes with Rick Grimes, and his goodbye was phenomenal. Then you have the build-up to The Whisperers. The Walking Dead becomes a horror show again. The Whisperers and the Walkers are scary again. You have the build-up to the calm before, and one of my favourite moments in The Walking Dead is the big Pike reveal scene, so phenomenally done. This season is just phenomenal from start to finish, and it's a shame that Season 9, in my opinion, is the last time The Walking Dead felt like The Walking Dead, because Season 10 and 11 really lost it. We had this amazing season, and then it was just gone again. It was just a one-hit wonder, really. But now, number 1 is The Walking Dead Season 5, and this is by far the best season, in my opinion, in the Walking Dead franchise. I could mix this with Season 9, depends on the day, but I think Season 5 is slightly better, just because we have some of the best stretches of The Walking Dead, like episode 1 to 3, best arc of the Hunters. You have Rick and the company on the road, absolutely amazing storyline. We then have the Alexandria plot right at the end of the last 5 episodes. This season is just hit, and only has one miss. I think every other season has maybe 1 or 2 dud episodes. Even Season 9, which I just praised, has maybe 2 dud episodes. I think that's episode 14 and 16. They're still okay, but it's just one's a flashback, and I didn't really care about the snow episode. But Season 5 is perfect, except for right at the end of episode 8 with Beth's death. That's the only time this season missed, but every other episode is absolutely phenomenal. We get to see Murder Jacket Rick, everyone basically becomes ferals, and then I really like the arc at the end where Rick is struggling to adapt back to normal life. And whenever I think about The Walking Dead, I always think about season 5 and Rick Grimes in this season, because I think he is definitely the most powerful and the best in this season. However, as always, that is just my personal opinion, and that is it for me today. So goodbye, peace out, and I'll talk to you later.